Right then, in this week's video we're going to answer a question that I seen crop up on one of the forums. Can you use UV resin to fill a crack in a bowl while you're turning it? And we're going to use this little holly bowl to find out. Right then, on the lathe we have this little 8 by 3.5 holly bowl. It's got a crack in it there. It's got a crack in it there. It's been through the kiln, and I filled these cracks before I put it into the kiln just to make sure it stayed together while it was in there. The filling should just cut away as I'm rounding it off and stuff. And then we can see if actual UV resin can be used. As I said, it was a question that was asked in one of the forums and I didn't know the answer. And I had some UV resin there. I got it free. I got it in one of them freebies from Temu. And I said to myself, I wonder. So we'll find out. Right, so first things first, I will round this off. As I said, it's been through the kiln. Yeah, right, grand work. We're opening up those cracks as we're going. Thought we would. For those who've been on the channel a while, they know holly is my nemesis. I can never get holly to cut properly. I don't know what it is with me and holly, but it's just, there's something about it that I can never get a holly bowl right. I'm going to check that I am actually opening those cracks up. That one not so much. That one big time. Grand. Okay. Right, so we will be able to test this and see if it actually works. As usual, just want to get it round first, then I'll worry about shape and finish cuts and stuff. And scoop button it. Now we'll start worrying about finish cuts and shape. Shape is pretty okay actually. Just want to get a finish onto it, a finish cut onto it. So every time I've done a holly bowl, it's always kind of cracked on me or warped, so it's unusable. I've thrown out a load of them because they weren't up to standard. They ended up in the fire pile. And that was probably something that's psychological in my head about holly. But it has always been my nemesis. I want to cut in kind of deepish here because I want to open those cracks. So I'm going to change the shape of the top of the bowl a little, just to make sure that I do open them. No, that one's not opening. That one is. We'll definitely be able to try it on that one. Right. And this UV resin I'm going to use is supposed to be red. Right. There'll be another upcoming video. I got some resin, some actual proper resin from Temu, just to see what it's like if it's any good. Their prices are not bad for those who want to try a bit of resin, see what happens. Their prices are not bad, but if it's kind of no good, there's no point in wasting your money on it. So line just there. Got it. Just there, there's a slight one. Got it. Still not happy with there, I can feel something just there. There's the side bevel, like a planing cut. There we go. Right then. I'll try a little bit in there and see what happens. That's going to be the main one. Right. Now then, I think I figured out how to actually do this. Right, so I'm going to move this camera right up so you can see what I'm doing, hopefully. Refocus it. Right. Might actually stick with that camera. Right. What I need is some way to make sure that this little UV torch stays the way it's supposed to. Right, I need it going across the crack, kind of. So then, if I slide this right up, the magnetic base on this little torch which is handy. That should fairly well be right. Okay, right then. Let's try this. And then UV resin. As I said, it's supposed to be red in color. Seems to be red in color. Grab something that's to squash it down into that crack. Push it down into the crack. The red pigment doesn't seem to be too deep on it, doesn't seem to be too good on it. Right then. There's the UV lamp onto it. Now then, according to the instructions, this should take about 4 minutes. So I'll leave it out and I'll be back to you then. Right then, it's been about 5 minutes and seems to be dry. So we'll just do a little side bevel cut just to clean it off and see what it looks like. It'll still be a little bit tacky, but we'll see if it actually filled the crack or not. And we'll just clean it up. Just try and clean off what's on the surface. A bit more than that, I think. I'm taking a little bit too little of that. Right, let's have a look at this now. Not sure. Let's have a look at this. I can definitely see resin in there, but is it gone off? Put my nail in there. See if it's still squashy or anything. That actually seems like it worked. I can get my nail in there and it doesn't feel soft. I think that actually worked. Now that it's cut down, I'll give another blast of this for a couple of minutes and see what happens. But I actually think this experiment might actually work. Okay, it's not as quick as sawdust and CA, but it seems to be working. What's that other one like? Alright, I'm going to scratch out that one. And I'm going to scratch this one out, what's in there. Let's see if it works here too, right? Right there. Deepen that one down. Right, it's right there. Might give us a clearer indication. Right. Give it a shove down into the crack. Make sure it's down into it. Right then. Throw that light back on it. Now I've made that crack wider, so it should give us a better indication of it, of if it works or not. Right, we'll be back again in a second. Right, and that seems dry now. So we'll do the same thing again and cut the excess off. I'll be interested to see if this actually finishes the same way the normal resin does, or if it, like how the chemicals that I'm going to use react with it. It does seem to stain wood, so something to be aware of if you're going to try it. So there the way it seems to stain around it. That was the same. Something I didn't notice before. And I wouldn't be putting sanding sealer on it first to stop the staining, because it would probably interfere with the bond with the wood. And whereas CA I know would go through it, go through the sanding sealer. I don't know if this resin would or not. Looks like it's about as clean as I'm going to get it. The resin is in there and it feels hard. Right. Now we'll hollow this out, see if there's any cracks on the inside. Right, there's one there on the top, so I might have to do something with that. We'll see what happens when we get it hollowed out properly. Bit more of an angle on that. Bump on that camera, so move it slightly. Sorry about that. Thinner than that, but not too thin. Yeah, there looks good to me. Check wall width. I don't want a super skinny bowl because I don't like super skinny bowls. Check for a crack. It's starting to show there. Right, so we're going to have to do something with that. We'll try the resin again. See how it goes. Checking where I'm starting to go wide. Starting to go wide a bit there. Okay. Right, I'm going to widen out that crack a little bit, fill it with the resin, and then hit it with the negative reg scraper to clean off the excess resin. See those little cracks there? That one there? That's just a knot. That's just a long knot, but we'll hit it anyway. Let's try this again. Just there and there. I know I don't need to fill the knot, but I might add an extra little bit of colour to it if the colour actually shows through. We'll just squeeze in. You mightn't even have to do this, but so we're just experimenting here. Right then, I'll turn this light back on. I'll be back in a sec. Right now, that seems to have dried off in there. So we would have belted a negative reg scraper just to clean it up. Higher. when it goes off, it's definitely a hard resin because you can hear it. You can hear it hitting. Okay, that's flattened off. Right then, I'm going to sand and finish this and we'll see what happens. So I'll do that and we'll be back in a sec. Alright then, just popping the wax off this. Now, I will tell you now, this video did not turn out the way I thought it would. I felt sure that the UV light wouldn't be able to get down into the resin, that it only kind of dried a bit on the top, and that when I spun this up, the resin had all come flying out. I'm actually pleasantly surprised with it. Alright, that's what the inside looks like. You can actually see the colours as well. You can see the red there. Can't see any red there, even though we did put some in there. You can see the red across there. Right, and if we have a look from the top camera, you can see the red in there. And you can see the red in bits along there. That actually turned out better than I thought it would. I'm surprised at that. So UV resin can actually be used for that. Right, I'll take it off, spin it around, put it in the vacuum chuck, finish the bottom, and I'll give you a better look at it. So we'll be back in a sec. Alright then, now we have it. A very nice little 7.5 by 3.5 ball. Done out of holly. Hopefully the camera is picking up where I filled those cracks. But as I said, this didn't turn out the way I thought it would. I didn't think this would work. But it was a question that was answered in one of the forums and it got me thinking. So you can actually use UV resin to fix cracks and bowls. Who knew? So if you like that or got nothing out of it, if you wouldn't mind clicking like on the video, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next one.